welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi and welcome. So this is my second time filming this video because I thought it would have been fun to film outside in a different scenery and like in a good lighting or better lighting and everything. And then when I started to edit the video, I realized that it was the most horrible idea ever, because I know my audio isn't the greatest, but like the audio was so horrible because of the traffic and the wind blowing and everything. It was just so horrible, so I decided that I wouldn't post that. Let's try again. This is going to be my mid-year book tag, I think it's called. I haven't read that many books this year. Let me check how many I've read. I read 17 books so far, and I'm going to link down in the description box all the questions I have if you want to do the same book tag or if you want to see the questions or something. So the first question is the best book you read so far, and I have two for this category because I'm in the middle of the other one. But if the book will continue this way, it's going to be a 5-star read, and if nothing like major negative things happen, so then it'll be a good one. The first book for this category is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. The book will always be in my heart and in my mind. I read it in the beginning of the year and I still think of this book, and I want to reread it, and I borrowed it from my local library, and I definitely need to get my own copy of the book because I want to annotate this book so badly. Like, it's one of my prized possessions, so it was obviously going to be in the best book you read so far. And then the other book is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. That's the book I'm in the middle of, but I just love the vibes, the setting, everything, the characters, everything in this book. Second question, new release you have not read yet but want to. So I have a couple of books to this one as well. So I have Happy Place by Emily Henry. I've just heard amazing things of that book. I think it's like literal fiction, kind of, as of opposed to they are marketed, or some people market them as romance books, but obviously it's kind of romance as well, what I've understood, and I just want to find out myself if I like her writing or not. And the cover is just absolutely awesome because I love pink. Then I want to get my hands on Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and it's sold out everywhere, and yeah, I just want to read that book so badly. And the third book that I want to get to is, I think it's called Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I read her like Love Hypothesis, yeah, and I love that one. And then Love on the Brain, still love that one. And I feel like very many people talk about her books that they are like very repetitive and similar, but I like them and I don't mind the repetitiveness because the settings are still different. But I love her book, so I want to get to that one. Third question is most anticipated read for the second half of the year. I'm kind of really bad at following what books release, so I just have one for this category, which is probably how you should do it. But anyways, it's Betting on You by Lynn Painter. Like, literally, her YA romance books are just so fun to read. I love Better Than the Movies, and I like the do-over, so I'm very excited to read Betting on You, and I think it's coming out like in the fall. Fourth question, newest fictional crush. this is easy. Sam from Every Summer After. Oh my god. He's handsome, at least in my mind. He's funny, he's cute, he's smart, he's like everything. So yeah, that was kind of obvious for me. Fifth question is biggest disappointment. So if you watched my wrap-ups, you might know the answer to this one. It's If You Had Been With Me by Laura Novelin. And I feel like the book wasn't just for me. Like I didn't like the main characters. I didn't like the storyline kind of, and the last chapter was kind of what the freak moment for me. I just didn't enjoy it, so that's that. And then the biggest surprise for this year, biggest surprise so far, was definitely The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharpie, because I literally borrowed this from my local library and then I thought I would return it because I wouldn't have time to read it, and I fell in love with this book. Like, there's so much happening and the story is just something I've never read before. I don't know like what category this is in, like mystery, YA mystery, thriller. It's not like thrilling, but literally, if you haven't read this book yet, please read it. And if you get easily triggered by heavy subjects, I like recommend you to look up the trigger warnings, because it deals with kind of heavy stuff. But I love this book. Like, it's the biggest surprise for this year, definitely. Then favorite new author, I actually kind of don't know, because I read one book of Tess Sharpie and one book by Carly Fortune, but I like they're both writing. It's really quick and it's just flying by, and I like how Carly Fortune, for example, is setting up the setting or like how she writes the setting, because I can really like imagine it in my head. Then the eighth question is book that made you cry. So this is where I'm going to repeat myself. It is going to be A Court of Mist and Fury, because I literally bawled my eyes out. I ugly cried. Like, ninth question, a book that made you happy. The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. Or there's no book I read this year that stood out, but The Do-Over was one where I got happy for the couple, and it was just nice, easy, fluffy read, so I'd probably say that one because of that. But there wasn't any like outstanding book. Most beautiful book you bought or received. So I've got these both books as gifts, and it is the Magnolia Park series. It's by Jessa Hastings. I haven't yet gotten to these books because I literally cherished them, because I know I'm going to love this series, and then when I read the books, it's over, and I just don't want it to be over, even when I haven't even started it yet. But I feel like this or the next month is going to be the month when I'm going to start the series, and I have just the first two books of the series, so Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates, and these covers are so freaking beautiful. Like, look at them. Look at all the detail in these books. Like, and the other two in this series, Magnolia Parks, Long Way Home, Long Way Down, something like that, and then the second, Daisy Hates, they are also so beautiful. Like, 11th question is a book that's out of your comfort zone. So I would say it's My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Mushfei. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, probably I'm not, but it's like literal fiction, and I don't read literal fiction that often, and it wasn't bad. I just think it kind of got a bit repetitive and the main character was unlikable, but I feel like that was the point behind the book, but it was kind of just a bit tough for me to get through. I enjoyed the concept of the book, and I don't feel it was bad, but it wasn't just like, it wasn't my favorite one. But that's maybe like a book that's mostly out of my comfort zone. Now we're come to our last question of this video, and it is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Obviously the Magnolia Parks books, if not the whole series, because these are just so amazing. I just love these so much. I haven't even read the series, but I feel like I'm in love already, so I've just cherished them, but I need to get to these ones. I got to borrow this series from my friend, and it is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I've heard so much amazing things about this series. It's like a YA mystery thriller, and I believe it hooks you up right away, and you just want to binge read them from back to back. What I like, that's the feeling I've gotten from these by other people's like ratings and all this stuff. So it is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Good Girl Bad Blood, and As Good as Dead. I've heard that the last book is either your favorite one or your least favorite one, but I'm so excited to get to these as well, because I feel like these are going to be quick reads and they are going to hook you up immediately. And then I want to read, because we're talking about series now, I want to continue Shadow Me. I read the first book and the first novella, and they weren't like the best, but people have said that the series gets better throughout, so I want to continue at least a couple books still, so I can then decide if I want to continue the series. I haven't read any Emily Henry book yet, so I want to dive into beach read before I, for example, buy Happy Place. And I bought this last summer, but I never got to it, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I always thought this was a romance book. But as I now understood, Emily Henry's writing is more like literal fiction with romance, and I'm really excited to see if I like her writing myself. Last book I want to get to that I don't have like a physical copy of is When in Rome by Sarah Adams, because I've heard it's a really cozy and easy romance read. And those were all the books I'm going to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the